Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage JP Nassif.
Thank you. Thanks. Good afternoon and welcome to Farnborough. My name is JP Nassif. I'm the president and CEO of Jobs Ohio. We're Ohio's private economic development corporation. We work outside but closely alongside our state to bring competitive economic development to Ohio. And we're the sponsor for today's conversation. Across America's defense industry base, the challenge is clear. America needs to move breakthrough technologies through concept into production and scale much faster. That means accelerating every step from design and testing to supply chains and full-scale production. Today, we'll hear from two leaders at the forefront of that work. Amy Gowder, President and CEO of GE Aerospace and Defense Systems, and Lyndon Blue Jr., CEO of General Atomics Aeronautical Systems. But first, let's take a quick look for why defense and aerospace are built in Ohio.
The world isn't slowing down, and the pace of innovation is accelerating along with it. The next generation of aerospace and defense won't just be defined by who has the best ideas. It will be defined by who can deliver them at scale. Because breakthroughs alone are no longer enough. The mission has changed. Design faster, test faster, build faster, scale faster. Speed is the new strategic advantage. Not someday, but today. We've faced these moments before. And when the world needed someone to go first, to build, to reach new heights, Ohio has led the way. From the birthplace of aviation to the missions that define history, Ohio has always built what we need next. Ohio is where vision turns into velocity, where breakthroughs become mission ready, and where prototypes reach production not in years, but months. The race to shape the future of aerospace and defense has already begun. The question isn't whether we can innovate, it's whether we can innovate at the speed this moment demands. Ohio is ready. So let's build what's next, together.
Great video. High energy. Okay, let's start our conversation with two amazing industry leaders. The first question is going to go to Mr. Blue of General Atomics. You know, you were into uncrewed aircraft before it was well known or well understood. Many say you were pioneers in the field, but you've been blunt lately when you say that to build it fast, to fly it, and to improve as you go, if that's the imperative, what impact does that have on companies? Their operations, their design targets, their testing procedures, and their manufacturing?
Okay, well, I think one good answer, the way I think about that question, is I have recently brushed up on my Wright brothers' history. And I don't know how many of you know, but I didn't know. The Wright brothers built Flyer 1, 2, and 3 entirely on their own nickel. Entirely on their own nickel before they had any penny of external support or any government buy-in. And each one of those flyers took all the lessons from the prior one to improve it and make it better. And only number 3, which was flown in Ohio, was a practical airplane. So I do not claim to be that we are the Wright brothers at all, but I think that mentality, which you bring it 100 years later roughly, is something that we've tried to follow. And I think it's been very important for our success that most of the aircraft that we have built and fielded, we started on our own. So it was an internal investment. At least we got it flying before we had any customer buy-in whatsoever. And we took all the learnings of those initial flight tests to make the aircraft better. When we did get customer buy-in, the focus was always on fielding the aircraft, getting it into an operational situation so that we could learn from that operational situation to improve the airplane. And we did that over years and years and years, over the past 30 years roughly now. That's what we've been doing. And I'd say what's been very important is, even though now we have sold to customers, the vast majority of the improvements we've made in the system are improvements that we've made with our own investment. Some of them were customer directed, but the vast majority were things that we did ourselves. And I think that's been really important to being innovative, to being quick, to solving problems on a time scale that was relevant. It's also true that we sometimes made improvements that the customer didn't want. But after a while, they decided it was their idea, so they did want it after all. That's been the way we've looked at the problem of innovation. And I think that getting to something that's flying, something that's real and not on paper quickly has been extremely important. And servicing something and operating something in the field across the world and for long duration, not episodically, not transactionally, but for years and years at a time is the key to, I think, has been the key to our success so far. And I think it's one of the advantages that American aerospace has in general over the rest of the world.
Maybe it's no coincidence that you were born in Dayton, Ohio, so that aviation is in your system
Absolutely,
here.
Absolutely, I'm very proud of it.
All right, Amy, next question for you. GE Aerospace's defense output has been climbing sharply, and you've talked about disrupting yourselves to move faster. Tell us the implications of that, what it means to your business.
Thank you. First, I would say that increase in output is exactly what our customers need. They have more demands than they needed at speed, like your video said. And that comes first from investment. So we invested just last year in the state of Ohio, $160 million in our own factories to increase capacity. We invested $1 billion in our supply base. Many of those suppliers are in the state of Ohio as well. And we've launched our flight deck. That is our internal operating model that gets at value stream mapping to deliver. And then we said that's not enough. We need to learn from the disruptors. So we've partnered with many disruptors. Beta is one we announced just this morning and yesterday of our hybrid electric technology. We partnered with Shield AI on a vertical launched and landing their XBAT program. We've partnered with Credo on small engines for CCAs, where we really changed our design practices, turned them on their head, and cut them in half, and said we're going to design around cost, while at the same time valuing our 100 years of innovation on reliability, durability, and what the customer can depend on. So it's been a fun journey. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a fun journey.
I'm going to ask you both the same question. And in an era of reindustrialization, where we want to produce these goods affordably in America, we want to make sure we can take advantage of speed and innovation. How can a state or a community differentiate itself amongst fierce competition to be the location of choice for your business? Let's start with Lyndon.
Okay, I'd say number one is always whoever has the best people wins. That's the hardest thing to build, and it's the hardest thing to maintain. So right now, I think you have the biggest dearth of skilled individuals is probably in manufacturing, and I mean in rate manufacturing. People who have experience managing that, organizing that, and doing that. And rate manufacture is a real challenge. Aerospace is not like automotive, so I'm talking about still a high mix, relatively low volume compared to automotive. That's the uniqueness, at least, of the aerospace business as we know it. That kind of still rate manufacture is very difficult to do well, to do cost effectively, and so there are not that many places in the country, and definitely very few places in the world that have the right groupings of people, of skilled people to do that. So I'd say manufacturing skill for manpower is number one, and for us in the unmanned world, the other thing we still look for, and it's still not as easy as you would suspect, is airspace where we can do flight testing and development. And that means flexible airspace where we don't need chase aircraft and we don't need to get a temporary flight restriction every time we do something, but we have a large area where we can operate in flexibly.
So flexible airspace for testing and operations,
Yep.
manufacturing capability, and a flexible skilled workforce.
Yes. Yes.
Amy?
I'm going to take us back to the Wright history, the Wright brothers' history. So GE Aerospace headquarters in Evendale is on the site of Wright Aeronautics Company. So we have a long history in Ohio of skilled workforce, both technicians and engineers. And I think your partnership with us in programs like Next Engineers, with the University of Dayton, the University of Cincinnati, with the workforce development we do, with the Future First, and even partnering with the United Way to grow those manufacturing skills, that's critical. And then really the basics of infrastructure, having great properties with the energy, with the connectivity that we need in this high-tech world. With AI growing, having the access to the connectivity we need is critically important. So I think those are what makes it attractive to be in the state of Ohio and for us to be successful at what we deliver. And that comes through partnerships, and partnerships with institutions like Dayton Defense and Economic Development and Jobs Ohio.
Thank you. So with the rapid pace of change and the need for continuous innovation to remain competitive, how do you do that and remain cost competitive, again, in a global marketplace? Amy, you first.
So I think you have to disrupt yourselves like we've been doing. And I think if you go back to our flight deck, our lean principles, it's what is the value we're delivering to the customer, and we're taking out the waste. Take out that, even if it's required waste, how do you take it out?
Yeah, that's it. I don't have a different answer, really. When you get into a large program, you lose the you can lose the focus on cost, and I think it's critical that every function in the organization is constantly reminded to focus on cost effectiveness, because it is too easy. It is just too easy to lose that if you've got a long-term production run. And organizations that can keep that ethic throughout the workforce in every level, in every function that's necessary to manufacture aircraft systems are the ones that can stay cost effective. And the country has a big problem with that.
Well, Lyndon and Amy, thank you very much for your time. Two incredible leaders in a fast-paced, complex industry sector. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to your future success.